had 80,000 trees we'll plant in a season, and this year we have about 14,000.
Okay.
So, but today we'll do between, depending on the number of volunteers, we'll do between 800 and 1,000 today.
Wow.
So
Nice.
you get to get sweaty and dirty and have fun. So this is the ReLeaf project, Mountains Community ReLeaf, Wildfire ReLeaf. And my partner today, as always, is Glenn Barley, forester for Cal Fire. And today I want to introduce some very special guests for us because this is a very special day. We have with us Matthew Boyer from American Forest. Everybody in green is Southern California Edison volunteers. And Edison actually is the group that grows our trees for us. What we're going to do is we are going to caravan to the location, and I'm going to let Glenn take over and tell you what we're going to do today.
So we're out here today to get some trees reestablished out here on the ground, and our goal isn't necessarily to try and get completely what we would call full stocking on the site, but we want to get some trees reestablished so that when they get to a seed bearing age, they'll begin to throw out seed, which will ultimately repopulate the site as a whole. We're up here on the top of the mountains. We're really actually on a little island of forested land up here, unique in Southern California. And in 2003, the old fire started in October of that year, and it ultimately burned about 60,000 acres. And then in 2007, there was another fire, the slide fire, that burned almost all the whole other half of their land. So if you look off in the distance, you'll see the tops of all the dead trees that burned during the fire. There's been some work that's been done in here to remove some of those dead trees. We have a good spot here to plant. We consider it good in the forestry world. This is a good planting site for us today. So the trees that we're going to be planting here today are Jeffrey pine trees. They're Jeffrey, and I'll pull one out, we'll sacrifice it here.
Any of you that have been here before, he kills at least one every time we do this.
Right.
The demo tree.
So this is a Jeffrey pine tree, and the seed is collected from trees here in our local mountains, and then it goes to our state, the Cal Fire State Seed Bank in Edison. We were able to work with Edison and get the seed from the seed bank, and they grew the trees for us. So these trees are Jeffrey pines. They're native to these mountain areas. The seed's collected from trees up here on the mountain as well. These trees are they're 1 year old, so they're not very old, and hopefully they'll go on to be 100, 200 years old as they get established and grow. We're just going to have one person come in and scrape an area. What we want to do is get down to mineral soil. This dirt, this actual dirt. This is all organic material. We want to get through that down to the dirt. And they're going to come in and jam it in. This is kind of hard ground, so then you're going to open yourself a spot to plant, pull it out, and your third person can come along. They're going to put it in here. You want to bury the tree up to the root collar, which is right there. All right, there's a little bump that you'll see, and I'll work with you as we go along. So you're going to get it in here, and you can start putting some dirt in there. Once the tree is planted, now you can take some of this organic material, put it back around the tree, and that'll help mulch it and keep some moisture in there. And you can use sticks, pieces of wood, whatever you can find. You can put some of that around it too. That'll help keep some moisture underneath there and provide the tree a little bit of moisture to work with as it goes along.
We want the babies to grow. That's what it is.
All right.
Okay, you guys ready?
All right.
Rosa, your team is ready.
Very good.
My name is Cheryl Nagy, and I represent the Mountain Communities Wildfire Relief under the administration of Mojave Desert Resource Conservation District. This project here that we're working on is the Boy Scout camp out of Los Angeles. And we actually try to recruit volunteers from all over Southern California to help on this at least 1 to 2 times a season, so that we actually get that input from the volunteers and get them to realize how important it is to reforest our community. After that, we will bring in the professional crews and some of our CAL FIRE partners to help with us on the planting. So they will go ahead and plant the majority with just a very few 30 volunteers in 3 hours.
Well, we're out here planting today because this area burned in 2003 in a wildland fire that burned about 60,000 acres. And you can see behind me the skeletons of the trees that burned in that fire. The area we're standing in was a completely forested conifer forest. And it denuded that site, killed all the trees that were here. So as a result, we're back here today planting trees, working to establish a conifer forest back on this site. Obviously, it's something that's going to take quite a bit of time. It'll take several years before we have trees reestablished back out here, and probably 15 to 30 years before those trees are producing seed and producing progeny of their own. We've been out here for a couple of years, and we've got some trees over here that we've planted and are now established and doing pretty well. So that's what we're looking for in some of the areas that we're planting today.
Actually, the problem started with the bark beetle and the wildfires that happened in 2003. And fortunately, we were able to receive grant funding from American Forest back in 2004 to start this project in 2005. So this year we're completing our 9th season and working closely every year, being funded by American Forest. And sponsors like yourself, WeWOOD, which we absolutely could not do anything without you. This year, out of our 15,000 trees, 5,000 are coming from your organization. We only plant native, and the seeds actually come here from this forest here. So with CAL FIRE having some financial cutbacks, we've had to actually stop our production in their nursery because our nursery was shut down. So we are now using Southern California Edison's nursery in Auburn, California, and they are growing our trees for us. We purchase the seeds from CAL FIRE, have them planted over there, and then we bring them in here.
American Forest has been huge. They're really what's allowed us to do the project. Without their funding, we wouldn't be able to buy the trees or to pay the crews to plant the trees in the ground. We have some volunteer help, and that's great, but we also rely on crews that are being paid to plant the trees. So without their support, we wouldn't be able to do the project. You know, an American Forest has a number of corporate sponsors that sponsor them, and without those corporate sponsors like WeWOOD, we wouldn't be able to do the work. So
I want to personally thank American Forest and WeWOOD as a partner, because without your efforts in helping us get our forest reforested back after fires and bark beetle devastation, we would not be able to do this project. So I really, truly, I've been doing this project for 9 seasons. Without you, we would not be doing this today. Thank you very much.